it, you're in a position to win. Got it! One-handed catch as he goes up and gets it. That's just a heck of a play. If you make it, you're in a position to win. Gonna go for two here. He's going for two. If you don't make this, you lose. If you make it, you're in a position to win. Got it! One-handed catch as he goes up and gets it. That's just a heck of a play. Gonna go for two here. Go for two here. Got it! One-handed catch as he goes up and gets it. Gonna go for two here. Go for two here. If you don't make this, you lose. If you make it, you're in a position to win. Gonna go for two here. Go for two here. Got it!
What is going on, guys? Welcome to Going for Two episode. I'm not even sure what we're on anymore. They kind of just keep going. 67, our producer just cued me in. I am not a regular host. That is our boy Shane, and he is not here today. He's on a much-deserved vacation out on the West Coast.
So while Dad's away, Chad gets to roll, right?
Yeah. So I'm gonna free ball this, and whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
We might get more viewers, but there's a good chance we'll have less. But we have our boy Ricky filling in, who's usually here for me. I was really confused when he popped on. I was like, shit, am I not supposed to be here? It's the first show we've ever. It's the first show me and Ricky have ever done together. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we got our boy Gino Gallup. Motherfuck, I already fucked it up. Gino, what's the last name? Gallupardes. He's a local MMA fighter. When we talked earlier this week, we kind of worked something out. He was going to rep the brand in the fight. And this morning, you got some brutal news. So let the boys know what's going on.
Yeah. So, I was all scheduled to, I was going to get up early and kind of get my way down to Burlington, kind of set up everything to begin the weight cut for the fight Saturday. I get a call right as I was around the same time, and they tell me the fight's off 2 days before, and they tell me the fight is off because the guy I was fighting tells me, he tells the promoter, he goes, my coach is not coming. He's like, he thought it was a different month or something like that, and he is refusing to show up because he has. Wait, if he's your coach, isn't this his job? And and he was like, they said, hey, they contacted coach, hey, what if we fly you down from Montreal to Burlington, pay all your accommodations and everything? He flat out refused. He's like, I'm not coming. Then they said, okay. They go back to the opponent. They go, okay, well, what about your, cornerman sorry. I've done it before, like have teammates in there and stuff. And he was like, nope, I don't want them. I don't have any that I trust, or I don't know I have that many or whatever. I flat out no. They were like, well, what if we get you someone here, like that's going to be kind of it's going to still help you be unbiased. Like, he's like, nope, I refuse. So basically I got the news today, and I've never been so angry in a sport as I was today, because they were like telling me that they were going to find something last minute. I knew that wasn't going to happen. Like I'm honest and a realist, and I knew that, especially with the pandemic, it is for everyone to get medicals. Like the card got hit a lot by people with that issue. So I knew that it wasn't going to happen, but I held out 0% hope in the sense of I just didn't start eating crazy.
Yeah.
Until I knew for sure. And then they told them last minute, they told me a few hours later that it's officially off. I asked if I showed up to weigh in, if I could still get some of my compensation. They said no. So I
Jeez.
I lost out, and it sucks because I could have gotten something lined up for the following week had I had a few more days notice,
Sure.
right? In the States or something. So it's just it's heartbreaking. I'm so angry that I'm not angry. I didn't even feel like crying. I didn't know what we could do. I was geared and ready to go, and it was more frustrating because we did interviews and stuff, and he was saying how he was going to make a statement and dominate. Well, how are you going to dominate? You can't even show up. So it's just
So he was
shitty.
going to make a statement. So
Yeah,
is this guy
what kind of
like an under known
Well,
kind of guy, or?
you're not gonna make. First of all, I was like, you're not gonna make a statement. You're not gonna win. I'm gonna smoke you out, right? Like I'm gonna beat you up. But I was like, for you to not even show. Injuries are one thing, and I'm very sympathetic to injuries, and I would have even wished him well. But for something like this, it's very hard for me to feel bad. I don't feel bad for him. I feel bad for me in this situation. It's just. Especially with everything, I've been gearing to go for 2 years. I've been sitting on the sideline for 2 years. However long the pandemic is. They're really I've been working full time. I didn't take any time off. Whether I had to do it by myself because of the pandemic and afterwards, I've improved a lot. I was really ready to show a lot of different things, and especially it sucks too because I made compromises to even get the fight. I was going up a weight class. You know what I mean? I got the opponent changed to him. I was open to all of that, and then to not have any of that happen, it sucks. So it's just.
So obviously, this guy's name is going to look pretty bad for the next little while, right? There's no doubt about it. This guy chickened out of a fight. There's no way you can get around it. I'm an outsider in the sport. Okay, I don't know much about it.
Right.
But that being said, how a coach in fighting, I can certainly understand getting you to the fight, how important that would be. But just having somebody that maybe you trust just to be in your ear, I think for how long were the rounds?
3-5.
3-5. So we're talking 15 minutes of serious action. I don't think that he would have lasted 15 with you, Gino. But regardless, have a friend just to be in your ear. You don't need your coach at that moment. You've had a year, 6 months, however long he's been training to this moment. But now, okay. So beside this guy looking tarnished and looking pathetic right now, how does this look on the coach? Does this guy have a legitimate reason to not actually be here, or what's going on? Is he feeling pretty bad now too?
I don't know. Where it's kind of getting, and I really don't like. Here's the thing. I don't like disparaging people on social media and things like that. I don't like that. I won't do it. If I had something, I would say it to him. But where I genuinely was I didn't understand is that his coach is working and he won't come down. I was like, but isn't this his job? I didn't understand. And he's and then they started saying, well, he thought it was next month. I'm like, what are you talking about? What's going on?
From my experience, the only thing that's worse than canceling a fight is, a fighter not making weight. So do we know if he was able to make weight?
And I don't know, because he had fought higher weight. It would have been worse if we were there and I was in the middle of cutting weight. And again, because I'm going up a weight, I didn't have a lot to cut anyway. So I was already compromising it in that respect.
Yeah.
So to lose that, it sucks, right? And I wish I could, I'm hoping for a quick turnaround, right? I'm not fighting him again. If they try to reschedule it, I'm going to be like, no, because he's a flake. I don't care. You had your chance. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. If you're going to act that way, stick to the amateurs, because that's all you are.
So me and Gino, I've known you for years now, coming through the gym and stuff like that. And hearing something like this, where the guy said his coach didn't know when the date of a fight was. Coming from coming from the gym that we came from, could you ever imagine Mark, Sam, Chris, Jesse, any of those guys being like, "Nah, man, I didn't know you were fighting." No, it's so unprofessional. How do you respect your coach? How do you respect your coach when he lays obviously nothing invested in you by the sound of it?
Yeah, and this is the thing is the coach again is the coach is one thing. That's to me this is all bush league, because I've had it where all the coaches had they were they had pros to coach and all fell on the same weekend, and I had training partners I had done that. So for that to be an excuse to me is not valid, because it's literally an experience I have had and I worked around it. We worked around it. We made accommodations. We were all on the same page and we still got the job done. So having training partners in there that is still valuable. So to me, it's just the whole thing is just I can't help it. Just feels odd. Like it feels kind of fishy in a weird way. Like maybe he wasn't prepared. Maybe he didn't take it serious. But I mean, he went through the process to do his medicals. Like it's just very odd, right? It's just it rubbed me the wrong way. And again, I wouldn't have been upset. I can't lie because it can't be. It's a tough game. It's tough on your head, your mind, your soul, your body, everything. And I would have been okay with it. Like I would have been heartbroken, but I would have been okay with it. But for this kind of sucks because I feel like you feel kind of helpless and trapped, but you're really not helpless and trapped in any way. But you just can't shake that eerie feeling out, right? You're just like in like
the only thing that'll shake it for you is to get back in the ring as soon as possible, right? So.
For a quick turnaround, I don't know how realistic that is. Like, we're hoping fairly, but with the state of how everything is, it does make it a challenge. Again, it's going to be 2 years now. Like next week will literally be 2 years since I fought last, and I was ready to go, and it sucks, right? Like with all of this, like you only have a finite amount of time to do this, and taking years off is not ideal, right? Now, some of that is not. I still have some time to reach my prime and everything like that, but it's not helping.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Sure. And I mean that you're showing that you're ready to go whenever because as you mentioned, you were going up a class here, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So you're willing to move, man. You're not like, oh, I'm going to stay in this area here. Like you're willing to go up, down, whatever, right? So
we had.
So you were going up. You were going up, and he was coming down. You said you were going up, and he was coming. You were going up, and he was coming down. So he must have been a big guy then.
So he was fighting at 40, but usually when you fight amateur at a one weight, you come down usually one weight for pros. Typically, that's how it goes. Like the thing is, the other side of that is I fought amateur at the same weight he does. So I did. So for me, even that is lost. Like I fought at 45. I fought at 50. Like I went up weight. Like I was higher. I fought at an amateur. I fought at a higher weight class, and I would often be smaller than most of the guys, if not every time. So again, like I went through. So in no like, I'm like I did that at some point. I just worked around it. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's shit. I don't know.
Speaking of your amateur career, I have to tell this story. The two guys at the bottom don't know it. Liam heard me kind of bring it up to you earlier. So me and Gino go a couple years back, and he was a undefeated fighter in the amateur circuit when he was coming up. And we were getting in the locker room the one day, and I was like, "You're talking about your fight coming up," and I was like, "Yeah, like so if you like this one, after you win this one, like you'll be 4-1." And Gino's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And I was like, yeah, man, like, like, unfortunately, like, you lost your last fight. So, like, you got to bounce back. You'll be 4-1. He's like, Chad, I'm 3-0. And I was like, no, you're not. Like, I called him as if, like, he was the liar that didn't know that his own record. Like, he was denying that he ever lost. And he was like, Chad, like, I've never lost. I'm 3-0. I'm like, no, you lost your last fight, man. That's okay. And do you want to hear the kicker of this whole story? Gino, tell him.
Well, I lost a razor-thin decision.
Yeah, after I told us.
Which we thought we won,
Yeah.
Oh.
So I was just ahead, like, I was just predicting things, I guess. I've never felt so bad. I was so ashamed to walk back into that gym. Yeah, I put it out there and it happened. And, like, it's funny now because, like, you've done great things since then, and you still talk to me, so I appreciate it.
First off, though, Chad, man, football must have really dung you around, eh? You didn't remember if he won or lost the fight?
I was fighting him on the fact that he won or lost the fight. I think that's the bigger problem here.
Yeah. I was like, no, I instinctively remember. I was like, I don't. Like, what?
Oh, my gosh. So we got some fights coming up, right? We got a great weekend coming up, right? I'm not a big MMA guy, but I'm told when there's fights on to watch and people pay attention, right? So what's going on? Who are we seeing this weekend? Or is it next weekend?
It's next weekend. Yeah,
oh, next weekend. Okay. Woo.
So we
there's one this weekend as well, but not as good.
Yeah, and we got 2 title fights the following weekend. So Gino, we wanted to kind of pick your brain at it.
Cool.
We got Volkov and we have Ortega for that's the 55er. That's 55 or 45? 45. 45?
45, yeah.
So what should we expect in that one? Because we're all degenerate gamblers here, except for Caleb, because he's a smart one with his money.
I think you're going to see this fight contested on the feet a lot. I think both guys. Here's the thing: is I don't think Volkanovski wants to go to the ground with Ortega, and I don't think Ortega is really interested in doing that, where he's going to lose certain attributes like his height and things like that, because it is sizable. I think you're going to see Ortega, who showed a really improved stand-up game. I think you're going to see him work that. He might try to clinch up a little bit in tight. I can see Volko just kind of I think he's going to use a lot of leg kicks. He's going to try and keep him away. He's going to just try and break him down step by step. Part of me thinks, if I had to part of me kept saying Volkanovski is probably going to win, but I have this strange suspicion that Ortega is going to knock him out. I don't know why. Don't go by my picks, because sometimes it's weird. I think it's going to be primarily stand-up, and it's going to be a control of ring. I think that's going to be a battle.
The big part is they're putting Ortega at a plus 155.
Right.
And they're putting minus 185 on Volkanovski. I'm good at names. Is that 155 worth it, though? The plus 155 on Ortega.
It's a close fight. I think it's a very close fight. I think the line makes I think the line for both makes sense. I don't know who I would pick in that.
Let's just keep in mind Volkanovski hasn't lost since 2013.
Yeah.
Excuse me?
Ortega, yeah.
How many fights has he had? When you make a statement like that, then you're going to say 3. How many fights has he had?
He's 22. He's 22-1. So he's won 19 fights in a row. Ortega's only lost once in his career, and that was to Max Holloway. And if you lose to Max Holloway, there's no shame in that.
Yeah.
So it's going to be an absolute banger. It's going to be such a good fight. Yeah, I can't see it.
So who are you calling, Rick? You can't make.
I'm going Volkanovski all the way. I can't see the guy losing. He's a machine.
Yeah.
So right. Ortega hasn't fought in a while either. I don't think it's been quite some time. I think since he's fought.
Yeah, he fought once. I think last year, and then they did the Ultimate Fighter. They were supposed to fight. They were supposed to fight a few months ago, but I think Volkanovski got COVID.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, so they prolonged it a little bit. Yeah. But I think Volkanovski takes it. But I expect a good fight. I think it could go easily, 3-4 rounds, maybe even the distance. But we'll see.
So in our other main event, we have Bullet. Everybody's Shavinkov. Why are they all? I can't say why. Why do you guys have me do this? You guys get so much pleasure out of this.
Just call her Chevy. Chevy. That's what I always call her.
I just call her Bullet. It's that simple. She's fighting Lauren Murphy. Look at that, I nailed one. Lauren Murphy, she's fighting. I think it's pretty simple who's taking this one. No one can touch Bullet. She's untouchable right now. She's amazing. Outside of Amanda Noon, she's the best pound for pound woman fighter on the planet. Do you see anything differently than that?
No.
Yeah, that's the only fight that needs to happen is between those two, I think. But
sorry. Yeah, Murphy gets it by the law of she's clear out the rest of the division, right? She's the only one left, only one on a win streak, only one you can kind of be like, oh, it's not so much that she's going to be a threat, is that there's no one else on a win streak, so it doesn't make sense for anyone else.
But I also respect Shevchenko for keep taking these fights because, she's fighting people that she doesn't really have to fight. She could sit back and wait, but she's staying active and kicking ass and taking names.
Is she ever? Terminator.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be the one fight. This is strictly for the fans. This is literally for the guys who are my age. These guys have been around forever. We got ruthless Robbie Lawler going against Nick Diaz. He's been back from smoking weed. It's finally allowed to happen.
Yep.
And
it's going to be a banger.
We've been this is strictly how do I make fans happy? Yes. I got it. We'll put these two guys together. That's exactly what happened. This is to sell seats, make everybody in a good mood. And I'm just I don't think anybody loses this fight. They're going to stand and bang.
What do you mean by that? What does that even mean?
They're going to stand and bang. The fans are going to love it. They're both going to get paid. They're both probably going to get a bonus. There's no loser there.
Wait, so this is going to be a Jake Paul type fight?
No.
Stop it.
This is a rematch too. These guys fought. What is it? All the way back in 2004.
Yeah.
They fought, and this is that's crazy to get a rematch 17 years later. And he lost to Nick Diaz, so I'm pretty sure Robbie Lawler is gonna really want to get some revenge on this one.
Yeah, I think it's a fun fight, right? I think this one's actually 5 rounds, if I'm not mistaken, right?
It's the first third. It's the first third fight. The first third fight on the card.
If you remember, they did Nate Diaz was like that too. They did 5
Yes.
rounds. Yeah.
But it wasn't the third fight on the card though. So this is like
Was it
this
not?
is the third.
Okay.
No, it's the third undercard. That's not a title fight to be a 5-round fight. So it's pretty cool.
Chad was right on this. No one loses this fight. None of these guys, win or lose, are going to lose out on anything. This is a pure fight for the fans. It's a legacy fight. I don't think it sets them anywhere near a title, but I don't think it has to. So this is just a fun fight. The UFC
When guys this age are fighting, you want to see the guys that are the same age that are older fight, and you don't want to see them fight some young guy like that, right? So it's perfect.
How many more years?
They're going to get a shot still at somebody decent if whoever wins this fight, and if they can pull it off, then that'll catapult them there. But I doubt they will.
So with these two guys and the way that they fight, how long can they go?
Diaz will go 5 rounds all day.
No,
long.
I meant like, are we seeing the last couple of years of their careers? Are we going to see 4 or 5 more years of these guys fighting still?
No, I don't think so. Robbie Lawler's 39. Like, I can't. Maybe Diaz because he's fought like twice in the last 8 years. But
it's crazy how Nate has been able to keep his like image alive like throughout the years without having to do very much, eh?
Well, this is Nick Diaz that he's fighting. Nick Diaz is the one he's fighting. Nate's stayed a little bit more active than Nick. Nick's pretty much like fuck the world. I don't want to ever fight. I just want to smoke weed. Because his last fight was 2015 against Anderson Silva, and the one before that was GSP 2013.
Kaylin can understand that lifestyle. He's all about it.
I get it. I can understand it. I'm not one to judge here. You got to be relaxed, right?
All right, Gino, man. We thank you for coming on, though. We had a lot of fun. You're gonna fight, and we want our name on your.
One or two till this. So we'll see what happens.
Just is our name on your dick or is it on the ass? Just let us know where we are.
It was on the back near the butt.
Ah, okay. Nice. We'll take it.
Whatever you fight, buddy. Good luck.
Yeah,
good luck. Whatever you
luck,
fight.
Gino.
Yeah.
Take care, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Gino, man. Have a good night.
See you.
So here we are. Thursday night again. It's football night, right?
Yeah,
man.
And we got a fun game.
Worst game ever, but
yeah.
We were trying to build them up, Ricky. We're trying to build them up.
Hold on here, guys. You all know how much I love Danny Dimes and how I think they're going to turn the page here a little bit. And I think that this might be the game where they have the opportunity really to turn that page, and only because Fitzmagic went down, right? Like, I don't know if Fitz was in, I think they win the game. But I still think that the backup is very capable, but I believe in Danny Dimes, man. It's just him.
It's Danny Dimes. We're not over this.
He has. Ricky, I didn't know you're a Michigan fan.
Charles Woodson fan. That's it. I have all of his jerseys.
Did I tell you the shirt I got made? Just to be an asshole? I took the Appalachian State scoreboard and just put it on a shirt.
I remember when that happened. That was crazy.
I wore my one buddy's a diehard Michigan fan, and so I just looked at the scoreboard. She's like, and it says the big house all on. He's like, "Oh, that shirt's sick," and I was like, "Look closer, asshole." All it says is 34-32.
Yeah, I remember that. Weren't they like 30-point underdogs or something in that game?
Yeah, it was nuts. It's the greatest upset in college football history. And I got it made to a shirt just to wear one time.
You're a huge Notre Dame fan, right? Is it?
Yeah.
That was always my team growing up too. So there you go. But
we gotta.
I swear, they put this game on Thursday just so people would watch it. Like, I swear,
they made a thing. I think outside of week 1, I think all the Thursday nighters are divisional games. I do believe.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, they've been doing that for a while, but this is historical. Like Ricky's saying, this is where they would put the Titans and the Jags 5 years ago, 4 years ago.
100%. You have to
watch it, right? Yeah.
Because every team has to have a primetime game, so just get 2 teams done at once.
Yeah.
But we got to talk about Saquon. You got to talk about Saquon. Like, he's complaining, like, I don't think it's really good for my surgery to play 5 games or 2 games in 5 days. It's like, you're an NFL running back. If you can't handle 2 games in 5 days, then you shouldn't even be playing in the first place.
They actually said they're taking his pitch counts off, though.
Yeah, they're letting him go tonight.
That's weird. Yeah. After he would say that yesterday, I don't think I should play, but now we're going to take your pitch count off.
I think he was blowing smoke. I think that's what that was.
Okay.
So speaking of blowing smoke, I put it in the chat earlier. I don't know if Ricky was in that chat or that I put it in, but there's a rumor floating around here. All right, we talked about Fitzpatrick going out. Ricky, have you heard the rumor about how he got hurt? It's water slide gate, buddy. some guy called into a radio show today and said that all summer long, Fitzpatrick, and he brings about 7 million of his boys. This is what the guy said, quote, always go up to this water park, and Fitzpatrick always takes the fast slide. And he said, well, one time he went down the slide and he hurt himself. And he didn't see his exact word. I didn't see him sliding the rest of the day. So he said he left the water park shuffling his leg. So now he did get a over 200-pound guy land on his hip. But there are some people that were questioning the way that the landing happened, if that could have actually made this injury happen. So is this one of those we talked about in hockey, right? There was a story that floated around when somebody went and cheated on their girlfriend or their wife and ended up breaking his leg while dancing with her, that he went to practice the next day and he got rocked in practice in order to hide that injury. But is this one of those examples?
All I'm saying is remember Wally World Boys?
Yeah.
I used to ride the bullet all the time. And I never damaged my hip. That's all I'm saying.
Too much crocodile mile for Fitzpatrick.
That being said, I mean, he is an NFL player and he is an old man, Chad. It's not like us when we were, 15, 16 years old, right?
Yeah, well, I'm going to water park this weekend because I'm going to go relive my youth. I actually am.
That's amazing.
I'm going with Ash and the girls, and we're going to do some water park in Niagara Falls. So I will go down the biggest slide, and I will give you a recap on Monday. How I feel.
On your hip.
On my hip, yeah. Right. And I will let you know what Fitzpatrick is feeling like. I think that's the only right way to do it. I'm doing it for science, not for you.
He is 40 years old, so it was only a matter of time. I think it's miraculous that he hasn't got hurt more in his career, considering the way he plays and stuff. It's
he's a Harvard grad. He can do what he wants.
Yeah, exactly.
So I was looking up some stories or some stuff to talk about these teams because there's not a whole lot to say. I mean, they are who they are. I do, like I said, the Giants and everything, but ESPN put out a ranking of, I guess it's the 30th anniversary since the last time Washington won a championship. And they've gone through 31 quarterbacks over that time frame.
Nice. It's on the cover.
And so there was a good story about John Beck. Remember, he was supposed to be.
Oh, John Beck.
Oh shit! He left him some Beck. He was going to go to bat for him all season long, right? So Santana Moss says that. He said he sucked ass. I won't lie to you. I broke my hand. I didn't play the final 2 games with him. Nothing better could have happened to me because I didn't have to play with this guy. You talk all this shit in the offseason and lay this egg. Because I guess he called everybody. He called all the players in the offseason to arrange a mini camp, a throw around, right? And the way he started the phone call was, "Hey, I'm John Beck, your starting quarterback." And Cooley's told the story too. I guess all of the offensive weapons, they all called each other after the call and said, "Who is this guy? Is he actually our starting quarterback?" Nobody knew who he was.
Who was the starting quarterback?
At that time, I don't even know. This was back in 2011. Would have been Josh Johnson. I think it would have been Josh Johnson back then.
Do you look up 2011 Washington quarterback depth chart?
No.
Because I remember John Beck from Miami. I don't remember him ever being in Washington.
Oh, John. Yeah, he was. I just looked at him here. He was 0-4.
Mm-hmm.
They had multiple, is what you're saying.
It was 2011. Yeah, he was 2 picks or 2 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 0-3. Mike Shanahan was the coach at the time.
Rex Grossman was the other quarterback there at that time.
Sexy Rexy.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah, Gus Frerotte. I saw a Gus Frerotte sighting in there as well.
Is that before or after he knocked the fuck out of himself?
I think it was after. Jeff George. I don't know if you guys ever seen Jeff George, but oh my God, that guy was one of the biggest flops for a time that we didn't really watch Football.
Oh, that guy had a cannon though.
So how
he could throw 80 yards in the air.
I remember back when we played Smash Mouth football, Ricky, when I would throw darts as a quarterback, I used to throw up prayers, and they used to be good throws. And you used to call me Jeff George.
Because he's got red hair.
That's the only reason. Oh my God!
I don't even remember you. I don't remember ever seen you throw a football in my life.
Oh yeah, it was only when Mitch was my wide receiver. That's why they were dying. Or Bobby, because Bobby would go deep and throw to him.
So can I just ask why you called it Smash Mouth football, but yet you were throwing the ball? I feel like you're doing this whole Smash Mouth thing wrong.
No, it was Smash Mouth because it was crazy, man. We had like 3 teams running, so the winner would go on. It was just like King's Court, right? And it would be like 7 or 8 guys, full tackle, no pads, bro. And in what was it, like the 5 years we played? We used to get together every Sunday and play at like 9:30, 10 o'clock. Yeah, like 10 o'clock in the morning, and we would play until the first game started, and then we would go home right after that.
How many times I would get sent home from school growing up for playing tackle football in the yard?
Oh,
like weekly, and my mom was just like, "Why do you keep doing it?" I'm like. And this is full-blown me thinking I was good at football, and as you can all tell, I'm now talking about it and not playing it. I'm like, because I'm better than everybody else. And, yeah, and I would get sent home every day growing up from school because that's when you could play tackle football in the yard. My problem is I would literally score a touchdown and throw a ball at a kid's face afterwards laughing about it. Also, you don't high step in the East End of London is also what I found out when you're not that fast.
No, they'll hunt you down.
Yeah, they will find you, is what I found out.
Yeah,
that's when you learn how to high step.
I always did bad in gym myself because I always tried too hard. They're like, Rick, you're too competitive.
I came to win. No, we got recess later. We gotta go. We're setting the tone.
We should talk about the other quarter because I saw that Robert Griffin put on his Twitter that he's waiting for the call to come back to Washington, so it could be one of the guys coming back there.
What? Really? I didn't hear anything about that.
I don't know if it'll actually happen, but we're the smokers.
I don't think this kid's that bad. They gave him a good chunk of money. This Heineke, he played really, Heineke, like they played him. Yeah. He played pretty well against Tampa. He had the best performance, I think, of all the quarterbacks that played in the playoffs last year.
Yeah, he did play decent
before he got to the Super Bowl. Like he played a good game, and they re-signed him with the intent of Fitzpatrick coming in for 1 year only, and like kind of grooming him one more time and letting him take the reins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. Go ahead.
And I think that, like, from what I read, he was like in school, like the week before he's at Old Dominion or something when he got signed.
Yeah, get his math degree.
Yeah, and then he learned his teammates' names by playing Madden for the next 2 nights. So I love the kid for that reason. Awesome. Yeah, exactly.
That's great.
He's a feel-good story. He's just a smarter version of us.
Well, and he came in. He played pretty decent last week as well. Like looking at his stats, he went 11 of 15 for 122 and a touchdown. So it wasn't too bad last week. Mm-hmm. But I'll still go with the Giants tonight. I got a funny feeling they're going to win tonight.
About this Saquon pitch count thing, like, what do you guys actually think? Because I drafted him in my own fantasy, not in our league together, but in my other league. He was my first round pick. I was highly disappointed last week.
Yeah,
but I think he's gonna they have to let the reins off. You can't baby him forever because that division isn't that great. You know what I mean? So
no, of course not.
You have if you keep on the bench, you're not even going to compete. Dallas showed what they can do, and Dallas showed what they can do last week.
Yep.
So you're going to have to compete with them. Dallas isn't that far off, actually. I think their defense sucks, but they're going to score. So you're going to have to. If you're going to win, you have to get points on the board, and I think the only way they're going to win their division is by letting Saquon eat. It's that simple.
Yep. Well, he's one of the best players in the league when he's healthy. So them putting him on a pitch count is ridiculous. It's like, it's like giving a pitcher, that's lights out saying you can only throw 50 pitches tonight. It's like, well, that's great, but like if you're not going to be there for the whole game, like that team is garbage without him. So
yeah, they've shown that. Unless they're trying to, my only thought was, are they keeping his numbers down so they don't have to pay him? But if that's the case, they'll dip.
Someone else will pay him, so.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, what didn't let me down, or isn't a bad, that game on Monday, Rick, holy hell, man. Wow. Who would have thought that a Raiders and Ravens game would have ended up like that? I think everybody was at the edge of their seats for that game. That was fantastic.
Man,
and then also the mismanagement of coaching. Woo.
Oh, I was going to go into that, but I had Joel here. I celebrated like 2 times, jumping up and down, and then you hear that there's a flag, that they're short, and I'm like, oh, they'll blow it. Sure enough, interception. And then, like, John Gruden, like, I don't know what he's smoking, but, like, get your fucking shit together. Like, holy shit. He sends the kicker out on 2nd down and runs the clock down. Oh, we'll send the offense back out. I'm having an aneurysm. Literally, like, and then as I'm yelling at the screen, what are you doing? He just throws a 40-yard bomb into the end zone. I'm like, oh, yeah. Just when things were looking so bad, somehow Derek Carr throws a 40-yard pass off his back foot. Looked like a total Hail Mary, and it's just right on the money. So that was one of the most exciting Raider games I've ever watched in my life.
Yeah, upsetting that you lost Mariota, it looks like, for a few weeks. I know all the pain of that. Was it a
I know.
quad injury or something like that?
I think he still led our team in rushing.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Now,
so
yo-
I went to bed. I went to bed at halftime.
Okay.
No, Monday I had no power. I shouldn't lie. Yeah, I went to bed when I had no power on Monday.
So like right after the show?
I literally just like
Oh,
sat on my. I sat on my couch, like looking at the ceiling, and finally, like 10 o'clock, I'm like, I'm going to bed. This is stupid.
Oh,
I didn't
that's
get
a hell of
power,
a game.
but then I forgot I left my lights on, and I had my TV on, so that shit came on at like 11:45, and man, I hit the ceiling.
Oh god, it's just crazy, man. Like, Derek Carr's got to silence some critics, man. Like, I don't know what else this guy's gonna do sometimes to get some respect as a good quarterback. Because, like, he's led the league in passing again this week. 2 touchdowns.
I'm a fan
like,
of Derek Carr. I think
just
he
a
has
lot
no
of people
weapons.
a lot of people still are like, oh, we're getting rid of him. Get rid of him. Like, what is the guy gonna do, man? He plays great football.
And he plays in a very non-quarterback friendly system.
Yeah,
It's
Jesus,
it's
with
just
like,
weird.
the
Now,
play calling
we were
alone.
leading into that game. We had James on the show, who's another Raiders fan, and he was. I asked him. There was a surprise deactivation that right before the game with Cleveland Farrell, and I was like, "What the hell is going on?" It's supposed to be your edge rush. No, he did lose out his job anyway. He wasn't like a feature player there right now. But your pass rush, man, it was crazy. Now, mind you, when Ngakoue went out, and there was like a lull there for about 2 or 3 drives where they weren't able to get anything. But then suddenly they found it all over again. I think they led the league in pressures actually, and they might have blitzed like the 3rd least or something like that.
That's the most pressures Lamar Jackson has had in 2 years.
Wow, what?
Yeah,
He was all over the place, man. It was crazy. You guys were up in his face.
like Max Crosby definitely ate his Wheaties because the guy was just a machine. But it's upsetting for me because we were finally getting a good pass rush going, and then we lose. I just saw Gerald McCoy's out for season today.
Yeah.
And Ngakoue, I don't know what's going on with him. Like, we were dropping like flies all over the place, and I'm like, well, this is what happens when you don't play anybody in preseason. Like,
Yeah.
like you can't just expect guys to just jump into game speed right away and not have injuries. It happens all the time when you don't play at all during preseason.
Yeah.
Mind you, I was wrong about the offense because the offense looked pretty damn good without playing preseason. But Darren Waller is the reason for that. Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's ready to overtake that. Might be the number 1 tight end in the league, kind of thing, right? And what's different between him and I know the other I don't know if your argument would be Kelsey. That's who I would say is probably the best tight end in the league. But I don't know if there was an article that came out this week that the way that Kelsey is designed to run in that offense is he's not told to be in a spot. He goes to a region and just gets open. So that's what his job is in Kansas City. Whereas like Waller, he's running friggin' routes. Like there's designed offenses there that get him open. It's not just find a zone and get open kind of thing. So I think he might be ready to overtake that role.
It's about targets. So I saw a good argument for that today. Like Darren Waller had 19 fucking targets. If Travis Kelce had 19 targets in a game, he'd do the exact same thing. So, but their offense is so good they don't have to target him 19 times.
Well, and so I wanted to come back to, Ngakoue going down and the injuries and everything there. And you brought up Max Crosby. Now, they talked about how he played every single play like last year on defense or something like that, or 98% or 99%. And then he did it. He played every single play on defense. Like, it's not even, it was only the one side that was getting rotated that Nassib was on, getting rotated out.
Yeah, he's got the most sacks from the 2019 draft class, which is
exciting,
good considering I think he was like a 4th round pick or something, 3rd or 4th round pick. But we got to talk about the Pittsburgh game just quick for Shane. So,
well, yeah, we did talk about
that. Don't give him that. Fuck that. Next,
he did sneak in on Monday night to talk about it.
They're playing the Raiders.
They are playing the Raiders. Yeah, we were going to bring that up, and actually, I think I read some. Here, you preview the game because I read something very interesting today about the losses that the Steelers have to the Raiders. So I'm going to try and find that while you preview the game for us.
No, I just it was last week. Everybody was going against the Steelers. They came out. Everybody was going against the Raiders, and they came out and won. So it's kind of cool to see them play this week. I don't know, like the way Pittsburgh won was kind of impressive because the way they were winning last year was by putting up a shit ton of points, right? So we kind of won a different way than they did. So it should be interesting when we play each other to see the high scoring versus the low scoring. But I don't know. I wasn't too impressed by Najee Harris. I'll tell you that.
Well, I mean, I'm going to be impressed with the fact that the guy played every single play. If we're going to go and pat people on the back for doing that, a running back, a rookie running back, pass protection is so big in the NFL. The guy played every single play.
That way. I'm just saying his production was, I expected to see a little bit more than that, but we'll see.
And when I was talking earlier about the pressures and how you guys were like the third least, the Steelers actually, I think they blitzed the least amount in the entire league and far, far lower than their average last year. And they were able to get the highest pressure rate. So their defense is humming right now. They're just bringing it with their front seven, which is crazy, right? So now here's the little thing I read. So the Steelers have missed the playoffs 5 times in Roethlisberger's career. All 5 times they lost. They were out of the playoffs by 1 game. Each time they lost a game to the Raiders. So they might be defining. If you guys beat them this year, they may not make the playoffs. Maybe we'll have to put a little odds on that.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, I didn't know that. I do remember a couple of games that we beat them when we were terrible, especially one of the Jason Campbell days.
Oh, buddy, 2006, 2009, 2012, 2013, and 18. That's when you guys beat them. So, yeah, there was some times you guys were bad. Those early 2000s were rough.
We've been bad for like 20 years. So.
So I said the same thing to James. If you ask me an upcoming game, what I would be scared or nervous about coming into this, like I would probably say nothing because I'm never going to let my team have a weakness. But tell me, what you're walking into here? Shane's not here, so you don't have to worry about buffing him at all. What are you worried about with the Steelers? What's coming at you this week?
I'm just worried about beating ourselves. Like, we were really lucky to win that game. Once again, we did everything we could to lose it with penalties and just stupid play calls and, just times where, like, every time we get a good run, there's a hold. Like, it just always seems to be that way with the Raiders, and, like, it seems like the Steelers are always really disciplined. And, you can't make a lot of mistakes like that against them. It's like, we were really lucky to get out of that game. Luckily, Baltimore's hurt bad right now. And they want to play a cover 0 defense in overtime for some reason. But, but I just don't. You can't make that many mistakes, especially. I think we're in Pittsburgh as well. So I'm just afraid that, like I was talking about, not playing a lot in the preseason. It showed with the false starts and the holding and stuff like that. We were lucky to get out of there, so we better clear that up. I expected us to be a lot more disciplined under John Gruden. The fact that we're not yet is really alarming, but should be a good game.
Cam Hayward threw a little bit of shade today because he said he heard something about how Raider Nation was going to make an appearance at Steelers. Is it still Heinz Field? I don't even know anymore. Is it still Heinz Field? Yeah. Anyway, the Raider Nation was going to make an appearance, and he said this place isn't like the Chargers where everybody goes and gets a second home game.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
actually, here's something fun about Max Crosby has more sacks than Khalil Mack since entering the league. Did you know that? Interesting.
Like Chandler Jones had 5 sacks against you guys. Let's talk about that.
And you know what? Okay, so I just heard this too. Luan has a podcast, right, called Bussin' with the Boys. A week before that game, they were talking about something. I don't know how it came up, but he actually physically said, could you imagine being that guy that gives up 5 fucking sacks to another player, to one single player? How shitty would you feel turning to your quarterback when the quarterback would be like, man, what are you doing? And then what does he do that week? He goes and gives up 5 sacks. But no, that being said, today he owned up right up to it. And he's like, I could be out here just saying that it was, my feet weren't right. I'm just trying to get back into football shape. I played like shit. I played like garbage. I didn't let the fans down, the team down, let myself down. So at least he owns up to it. I mean, that's nice to see. You don't see a lot of players doing that, just wearing it on their sleeve like that. But he's been doing that when he messes up. He does it. So
there's not much you can do after that point.
So let's go. What do we got for you, Chad? Chad, what do you got? Who's Tampa playing this week?
Honestly, dude, I don't know. I don't care that much.
They're playing the Falcons.
Yeah, I don't care. Sorry, Nick. You're not relevant.
This is like years back when the Titans played the Falcons after a bye week, and I called Kirk, who was a Falcons fan then, and said, "This is the first time that an NFL team gets back-to-back bye weeks in history." And he's like, "What do you mean?" I saw the Titans are playing the Falcons this week.
Yeah,
so kind of the same thing, right?
It's the exact same thing. I probably saw it, laughed about it, moved on. The news I did see today was that Tom Brady said he's playing till 50. He can. Mm-hmm. Sorry. He can play till 50 is what he said. And the thing is, I wouldn't be shocked.
You probably will. Yeah.
Like, that guy has found some secret juice. I don't know what it is. He sold his soul. I'm all about it. He's one of us now. But even when he was in New England, I was like, I hate everybody that ever went to Michigan. I just like disgusting taste of that school in my mouth. But I'm like, fuck, he's handsome. And I can't get mad at him. And so now he's with us, so it makes it even better. But yeah, I think that guy could play to 50.
He looks better now than he did his last couple years in New England.
I thought it was super funny that someone put a picture beside of him in his press conference and Aaron Rodgers this week. And it was just like, it's hard to believe that it's hard to believe that Brady's 7 years older than Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, well, cut your hair. Like, the guy looks like the biggest slob. Like, if you, like, hey, you play like you look. I swear to God. Like, you look like a slob. Cut your hair, please.
He's just, listen, Rick, every guy who grows their hair out has to go through the awkward stage, okay? He's just at it. I've been there.
He doesn't have long flowing locks like you. They look like he just got out of bed and he hasn't washed his hair in 10 days.
Yeah,
Jesus.
He does look greasy. He does look greasy.
But as far as the Tom Brady thing goes, like,
it's just throwing darts.
And he's in an offense that now he understands it. Like I said, we talked about this on Monday. Bruce Arians' offense isn't easy. It's not quarterback friendly either. When I talked about it with Jameis. And Tom Brady's had some issues at the beginning of the season. We talked about it lots last year. I had a rough November. Like, you guys are ripping me apart middle of October to middle of November last year.
I have faith, buddy.
But yeah, no, Tom Brady's the right guy. Him and Bruce are on a different level of togetherness. He had one pick last week. It wasn't his fault. It happens.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I think that guy can play. He doesn't get hit either, which is the big thing. He doesn't
still
let
the quickest release time. Still the quickest release time in the NFL.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, oh, he's a princess. He's a diva. He doesn't like getting hit. First off, no quarterback wants to get him. I'm going to tell you that right now. But when the ball's coming out in 2.2 seconds, you actually don't have time to get to him. And that's the difference. And it's that reason there that he can play till he's 46, 47 years old. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see that. And, like, I watched a thing on him earlier this year, and they're talking, like, even Giselle came out and said, he's like, yeah, I'm going to keep, and she's like, we're doing it again. And, like, but she wasn't upset about it. Where most wives are like, okay, like, you've done everything else. And she's like, she just knows that he's not done yet. And having someone like that in your corner is going to make you stay a whole lot longer. Like, you're not missing nothing at home.
You got to stick around.
But he's not getting the shit at home, right? I think that's the difference. They've all bought in. So when you're playing at that level and your family at home still supports that and wants you to be doing it, then why is it any reason to retire?
Yeah.
And I think that's the difference.
Especially when you're living in Tampa Bay. Like, you know, or you're playing there. Like, you know, it's like, you know, you don't have to deal with the cold anymore. You got the beach. Like, I'm sure he's just loving life. So
yeah, and there's no tax in Tampa. There's no income tax in Florida either, right?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well, like Gronk was willing to walk away from the sport because he was just so done with it in New England, right? And now he's going to have a Pro Bowl season again, it looks like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He looks so good.
So, like, the other team, though, hold on, the Falcons. Let's talk about some
Falcons.
teams that might be in trouble coming into this weekend, right? Because the Falcons, I mean, I'm not talking about them as teams that might be in trouble. I did want to say they looked ugly, and that's very tough for Arthur. Yeah, Arthur Smith's offense is a very specific type of offense. I don't know if they're going to be able to run it in Atlanta this year. So, sorry, Atlanta. Sorry, Nick. It might be a long season, especially with Jameis putting up 5 touchdowns in a game. So,
do we think it has anything to do with Philly being decent though? Like, Philly looked a little bit better than I thought they were.
That's right. They're on a collision course right now. Well, not collision. They're obviously lined up right now with the Niners. This is going to be a good game because the Niners really kind of let the Lions back into it, whether or not they were just letting them have it in garbage time or whether or not they actually, the chinks in the armor were starting to show, as they say. So I don't know. Like, that's going to be a great game. Who do you pick in that one? Do you got the Eagles? And because their defense, their pass rush was there, and we always know that's what the Niners.
They got to show me one more week, I think. But them being at home, I was impressed. Jalen Hurts looked. I like the guy. I think he's better than people credit.
What's going to happen in San Francisco's backfield?
That's what I was just going to touch on.
Like, Mozart's out.
Everybody put their whole free agent bid money on Elijah Mitchell in every league I'm in. Like, literally broke the bank to get this guy. And I'm like, I know the way that offense works. he could be the guy this week, but next week Trey Sermon could be the guy.
Trey Sermon's going to be the guy. They drafted that guy for a reason. Obviously, he pissed off somebody. He pissed off somebody last week. He was a healthy scratch. But that guy is he's a big bruising asshole type back. And the only way you're going to win in that division, unfortunately, they don't have the quarterback with Jimmy or Trey to compete with Matt Stafford, Kyler Murray, Russell Wilson. You will slow down football games if you're not beating people up inside with a tough, every down, big back. I've been high on San Francisco for 2 years. Kayla knows that. You guys made fun of me last year, and I said they're all banged up and they were still okay. They need to slow the game down in that division. It's the only way they will win. And Trey Sermon might not be this week. I don't know if he's going to be next week, but that's the guy I'd be watching because they have a good offensive line. He's going to get touches. They're going to work him up, and it's going to be one of those things where he's going to start being the guy very, very slowly. But yeah, no, I think Mitchell takes in that receiving role, and I think that's what's going to happen.
Well, that's why I didn't break the bank on him because I'm like, I got to wait a couple more weeks here. Like spending all that free agent money on Elijah Mitchell seemed pretty risky to me.
I want
to talk about Brandon Ayuk. Like, I feel so screwed right now. Like, I didn't want to take the guy. I ended up taking him because all the experts say, and now the guy apparently is like fourth on the depth chart. And like, what the hell's going on?
Too.
Shandy came out today and said if Brandon wants to see the field, he's got to start doing better than the people that are ahead of him. So that's
like,
saying some things, right?
Like everyone like was so banking on this guy, and then you see Deebo Samuels go off for 200 yards. Like, holy shit!
I invested heavily in Deebo's cards, and I'm very happy so far right now. The price is just going up now.
Let me down, so I didn't touch him again this year.
He's one of those crazy type slot players, just an offensive weapon in behind the field and everything.
We are running out of time. We have kickoff coming, and we found out last week what happens at Thursday at 8:15. I wasn't here, but I heard about it. Everybody wanted to listen to Al Michaels instead of us, which is absolute bullshit, I would say, because I would want to listen to us talk about football all day long.
Still got 10 minutes.
We like to ramble, so that's why I'm going to try to bring this in now.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I posted a question in our group chat. Ricky, you weren't there. And this is 100% a feeling question. I want to see what you guys think because it got brought up to me by a guy I work with. And I was like, that's a fucking sexy question is what I said. All 5 rookie quarterbacks got brought in, and they all played. 2 of them that came off the bench for situational things.
Yep.
Our teams, our teams doing this following because obviously Justin Fields, Trey Lance can do things that the starting quarterback cannot do. Are they following that Sean Payton, Drew Brees, Taysom Hill thing, or is this for situations to help you out today, or is this a way of bringing your guy in slowly so by week 9 or 10, he's actually the guy? And that's what I want to figure. That's what I want to ask you guys about. Which way are they going here? Are they bringing him in slowly, or is it just strictly to play that Sean Payton, overthinking and being smarter than the defensive coordinator kind of thing?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both myself. It depends on what team. I think in San Francisco, I think it's more or less trying to be more like Sean Payton, I think. Matt Nagy, I don't think is smart enough to be like Sean Payton. Right?
Matt Nagy's a smart guy. He just can't call plays.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's the biggest part. That's the biggest problem. But it's a matter of time before Andy Dalton's out of there. Come on, Justin Fields is clearly going to be the guy. Trey Lance, I think, could still sit this whole year if Jimmy plays like he did last week. He played pretty good. So, but I think it's more or less. I think it's smarter on San Francisco's end. I think it's desperation more on Chicago's end.
And Cam, what are you saying?
I love it, and it's something that has been happening for some years. This year, seeing so many teams doing it's pretty exciting. But like you mentioned, the Saints. We've seen the Saints have been doing it for a while. I saw the Titans do it the last couple of years that Mariota, or the last year that Mariota was there with Tannehill. They brought him still, and even in the playoffs, they brought him in, which was pretty neat. So I like it. I think it's another aspect that you bring to the game that you're going to have to game plan for. It makes sense. It allows the players to find out what game speed actually feels like a little bit at a time rather than just being thrown into the river and learning how to swim. So I'm totally down with that type of stuff, man.
Yeah.
All right. So
keep on your toes.
It's funny because I'm on 1,000,000% other side of the spectrum.
Really?
Yeah, and it's and this is strictly as like growing up playing. Like I played quarterback. To me, and then I guess I've coached it. I've gone on and done those things. It's a very strange position, and it's a very confident-based position. If you don't believe in me to do something, it actually really bothers me. And maybe that's a me personal thing, but I come from a very old school mentality. I love the spread offense. I love the bringing athletes in, spreading the field out, doing all those things. But if I'm rolling and you take me out for one play, and then we lose that down, what are you telling our offense? And like it's more of the fact like, as a professional athlete, your ego should be at a certain place. Like that one play shouldn't affect you because you're professional. But I can't bring somebody in to throw the ball. What if I lose that down? And you come back in the second time, and then you lose that down. That's 2 negative plays in your playbook. And now all of a sudden it could be a drive canceled. It could be that's how the game changes. If my quarterback's doing his thing, why am I subbing him out? I understand bringing the young kids in to get them reps, but I just feel there's better ways to do it. Like when you're in week 8 and week 9 and you're 2-7. You know what, man? You're going to play the second half today. I'm going to give you a real look because I actually want to see what you can do. Bringing a kid in for a play here and there in a situation where, like, obviously you want to build their confidence, put them in a situation to succeed. You're going to build their confidence up, but I actually don't want to see you play 3 plays a game because I'm not actually getting a real look at you. You're coming in cold. You haven't thrown a ball in X amount of time. I'm only asking you to run. I'm telling the defense what you're doing. I don't know. I just think it's a weird situation. It's a very weird strategy to me. Sean Payne's perfected it, so I don't want to come out and sit there and say that he's an idiot because he's really good at calling plays offensively and doing his thing. But as like a guy that's been on the other side of playing, like it's a weird thing, and it would really bother me if my coaches take me to the field when I have something rolling.
And it can go the other way, right? Because even if you don't lose that down, and in the case of like Trey Lance, when he goes and throws a touchdown, it can go either way because at that point, Jimmy Garoppolo's still sitting there pissed off that he was taking out, another guy went in and got a touchdown instead of him.
He's still in my reps, right?
Yeah, so it can go both ways, I think, and I agree with you there that, like either way, you're disrupting the starting quarterback, at least in some way. Because, I think it was a bit different with Taysom Hill just because he was never really a threat to steal Drew Brees' job. You know what I mean? It was just he was a gadget guy. These guys are threats to steal these quarterbacks' jobs.
Yeah, these are first round draft picks.
Exactly. So it's a bit different in the mentality of the starting quarterback, I think, in that situation. But even when Drew Brees got took out, or when you saw him on the fucking wide receiver line, you see him look on his face. He was pissed. Yeah, exactly. Because I'm 40 years old. You got me out on the wide receiver blocking somebody. Like, you know what I mean? So it can be disruptive, but if it works, then you can't argue with it, I guess. But
just because you brought up Brees, I don't know if you saw it or not, but in the Saints game, Jameis threw a 50-yard, it's a 54 or 5-yard touchdown, right from the midfield.
The ball carried 50 though. I saw that. 50
yards in the air. It was in Drew Brees attempted 9,421 passes for the Saints and never had one of those travel 50 yards.
Wow.
Which is it's amazing. I mean, that Drew is the first one to be like, I guess that's all they needed. He was the one to say it. I love that he was, just confident in himself at the same time, though. So, guys, any final thoughts leading into the game here? Oh, I got one more for you. One more here. Got one more to the stat line. All right. Danny Dimes is against Washington. He is 4-0, but he is also 0-5 in primetime games. So one of those has to break tonight. What breaks?
He's going to go 4-0 because Saquon's going to eat, and I'm going to get fantasy points. That's what's going to happen.
So it'll be 5-0
with the Giants.
Yeah.
All right, Danny Dimes, all around the board. Liam, are you hopping on the train too? Choo-choo!
Go Giants.
Oh, yeah. He just shook his head so hard at you.
All right, so
I do want to touch quickly on our Blue Jays. They are 17 wins in their last 19 games. Okay, they are leading the league in ERA, strikeouts, WHIP, and quality starts since the All-Star break. It is incredible. We play the Twins tomorrow. You guys won last night too, so shut up.
No, I know. Hey, listen. As long as you're cheering the Orioles, I'm fine.
This is literally going to be 15-game playoff between 3 teams going into the wild card. Yeah. This is literally playoff baseball. I know you don't really care about baseball, Chad, probably, but.
Well, hey, on that note, too, I think Vladdy has a real shot at the MVP this year. I had a friend send me this message today that says that Shohei is he's not pitching on Friday, and it looks like he might not be pitching for the rest of the season, potentially.
He's not pitching the rest of the year, but the only way Vladdy gets the MVP is if he gets the Triple Crown, and Salvador Perez had like 5 RBIs last night and a home run. So he went ahead by like 10 RBIs. So the only way Vladdy gets the MVP is if he wins the Triple Crown. Even then, I can't see him do it. But, you know, quickly, Oli came up with a good point. They're like, everyone's like, you got to give it to Ohtani because he's doing something since no one's done since Babe Ruth. But the other guy's point was, okay, so then if he does this every year, what are you going to do? Just give him the MVP every year just because he's pitching and hitting? And you're going to discount people's amazing seasons? So you got to draw the line somewhere, I think. But either way, whether he wins it or not, I'll take the World Series MVP over the American League MVP. So let's go, Jays.
All right. We got kickoff, though, boys. Cheers.
All right.
Cheers.
Kick off. Cheers, boys.
Subscribe,
Ricky, nice to
Twitch,
meet you.
YouTube. Go like the video.